Showtime!
Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to your seats.
Showtime!
Please make your way to your seats. The show is about to begin.
Showtime!
Let the magic begin.
So next up, we've got AI creating DNA for us. So we're like, hey, create this creature I just made up so it'll kill the human race. Is that what's going on here?
Yeah. So this is crazy. So there's a startup called Profluent, and they've developed an AI system, well, ML. We all know it's all ML right now, that can design CRISPR gene editing tools, which is scary. So what it does is the AI analyzes large data sets of existing CRISPR mechanisms to generate new synthetic blueprints. One tool created by the AI, Open CRISPR 1-1 or whatever, was successfully used to edit human DNA. This is scary because it demonstrates the power of generative AI like ChatGPT to move beyond just text and images and videos into designing complex biological mechanisms. So as these models ingest more data, the hope is they'll be able to devise gene editors that are more precise and effective than natural ones. But there's always risk to consider. So the tech obviously is not ready for clinical use. Enhanced gene editing capabilities could also, enable the misuse, like human germline editing. So we're getting into government and all that sort of stuff, but strict regulations are going to be essential. So this is fascinating, but obviously it's not entirely surprising because there's been articles that I've read where they're using generative AI to come up with new ways to fight infections and new drugs and different things like that. So this is not surprising, but there's a lot of potential safety and ethics and oversight that's going to be needed for this, but still really cool, but also scary.
Yeah, I like the concept of open CRISPR. The CRISPR technology needs to move forward and come down in price and stuff. So the moving forward, I like. I'm really a little unsure about getting AI to edit DNA because let's face it, it generates nothing but crap for me most of the time. I mean, some of the stuff is usable for sure, but it makes up stuff. We've heard those horror stories where people submit their legal briefs and they use ChatGPT and just made up cited legal cases that don't exist and stuff.
Yeah.
So is it just going to add DNA that it thinks is good? Let's give this guy a tail. I'm not.
Actually, just as a side note, I'm going to share with you 2 sites that I use for prompt engineering for things, and I found a night and day difference when it comes to. Now, I don't use it for generating images or video, but if I'll send them to you and you can try them, but it's night and day difference. It's all about the words. There's actually one, I think it's no yapping that I use now to get right to the point, which is really cool. So
yeah, a lot of them are getting better and they're getting interesting, but
yeah,
like we talked about, I don't trust Google Gemini at all.
It's horrible.
It's horrible and just comes up with, it just makes crap up. It argues with you, tells you you're wrong, and then you give it facts and says, oh yeah. It's like, what?
My favorite still, and I think it outperforms GPT, even Claude 2, but Claude 3 by Anthropic. That LLM is phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sign up for one of these things. So it'll probably be Poe I jump on. Yeah,
do it. You'll thank me. It's cool now because now you can get multiple results through Poe, and you can also this is really cool. You can rename your bot so that it's better to track them. But we digress.
So we talked about what leads to, we're talking with Johnny Mnemonic. Isn't this exactly what leads to that crap that they were dealing with in the Twitch or the whatever it was, the disease that was going on? They were all these backyard gene splicing.
That's exactly what it was. And what happened was they were coming up so here's the thing, right? and this is always going to happen as we evolve and as we come up with new technologies, but there's always going to be new hacks or viruses that are going to come out. And I think that was the problem. There was some sort of, it was low quality gene editing that was causing some sort of disease in Johnny Mnemonic. And that's the scary part is as we get up to this, because right now we haven't gotten to the point where we're really modifying ourselves, our DNA and things like that. Like we're taking medication, which we really shouldn't, but and different things like that like, and we can get into the vaccines causing changes in DNA and all that sort of stuff, the RNA stuff, but that's not proven. But this is actually scary because you would be potentially modifying strands or sequences of DNA within your body. And you're getting AI to do it.
And you go back to the RNA stuff, and you're absolutely right. Not almost all the claims are not proven. The problem is we haven't had 10 years of the scientific studies and stuff to prove or disprove any of this. So on either sides, they're making claims. They're like, well, are any of this true? Or are you just predicting it's going to be true? Yeah. Because we just don't know. And it's great that we're testing this stuff. I just think that we need to go in a little more eyes open that, what you're saying is not necessarily fact, because we're still on the burgeoning edge of this.
We're on, short term, there hasn't been anything, but we don't know long term yet.
Yeah, and just keep all of that in mind, because time after time, generation after generation, we've seen this. Oh, everything's great, and then 10 years later, what was thalidomide back in the 50s, 60s, where all the deformed kids were coming out because of stuff they were giving the mothers to protect the babies. And anyway, I don't want to get into it. Long-term studies are the way to go to make sure everything's safe and that we know what we're doing. We don't know the long-term effects of messing with our DNA right now.
No, but we don't. No.
A lot of this stuff is cool. A lot of what CRISPR's doing. When I say messing with our DNA, we're talking about data storage. We're talking about rewriting DNA. So there's a lot of stuff we're doing here that could lead to unseen circumstances, unforeseen.
For sure. Yeah. And there's a lot of, and going back to the movies and sci-fi, like there's a lot of movies that have captured these potential scary situations that could arise from this. And there was, I
mean, I'm the conspiracy theorist among us here. I just think that all of this stuff could be misused, and you're really talking about some very interesting things, but also scary. I remember they were talking about these gene editors that you could just buy, like a 3D printing machine that would print genes for you. And that, I don't know, was it 20 years ago? They were talking about, well, you're going to create a dog, or you're going to create trees that glow like the underwater.
They have created those.
So they light the street up.
Trees.
Yeah. There you go, bioluminescence. So they light up the streets. They created them, but why aren't they lining the streets now? What's the problem?
Maybe there's a scalability, but you can actually buy them for your house now. The plants, bioluminescent plants. I just saw that.
Oh, cool. Because they were talking about that 20 plus years ago. I want to go back and look at it. But, we talk about environmental, we talk about electrical impact, we talk about all these things. Like, okay, well, if we have these bioluminescent trees, why are we not starting to line the cities with them? Because maybe we can then at some point use less electricity to light the streets.
Yeah.
Like it just becomes an ongoing, if you're using bioluminescent plants in your house, can you reduce your electricity just from we don't need nearly as much lighting?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, who knows? It depends. I don't know what the lumen output would be from those bioluminescence, but it'd be interesting to know.
Yeah, and then at the same time, do you want a big friggin' glowing bush, a tree outside your window that you can't shut off? So,
well, you can't shut off the street lights.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. So, It's really cool to see this technology coming. And, again, we were talking about the bioluminescent DNA on plants and animals and stuff years and years ago, and they're just starting to come out. So,
yeah.
When are we going to see some impact? Do we see? No, I don't mean down to our level, but we know that we were talking about CRISPR gene editing technology, and they got the cure to sickle cell, and it's about $2 million a number of episodes ago. Remember, we're talking about, can you put a price to a cure? Is something like this going to bring that cost down, or is the cost still involved in the equipment and all of that going to be
So here's the thing: is like this is just you're leveraging AI technology, which is relatively cheap, like as far as compared to other, like you can create your own LLMs essentially, right? And you're leveraging that for a technology that's been around for many years. It's still pretty high cost, but there's a few things that come into play in order for this to become a reality. So the current AI models based on the article that I read, they're still relatively simple and limited compared to the complexity that we'll need to robust medical therapies. So it's going to require a lot more data and algorithm development. There's the manufacturing, so scaling up in production for achieving a quality control for synthetic biology machines is difficult and expensive. The delivery method, so getting gene editors efficiently into human tissues in the body is very challenging, depending on the organ and the condition. So they're going to have to come up with advanced delivery mechanisms, and those are still lacking. The safety testing, so they're going to have to test it in cells and potentially animal models over years. And they're going to have to test for off-target effects, toxicity, dosage, safety consideration, tons of different other safety considerations. And then we talk about clinical trials, regulatory approval. Like there's so much. So again, we're at least 5 years away from seeing this as a routine clinical option. But again, if it's accelerated and we come with and we come up with breakthroughs like we have, we could see human trials in 3 to 5 years potentially, I'd say.
So the conspiracy theorist in me goes, okay, now we're getting AI to create DNA. Will it create, a monster, and or will I be able to go and order a new type of creature as a pet?
So potentially, so based on what this article said, okay, so and this is not going to quash your conspiracy, but the AI is what they're saying is trained on large data sets of existing functional mechanisms, CRISPR mechanisms that have been vetted by scientists. They've also probably put constraints on the search space of possible designs to eliminate implausible or risky sequences. But again, that's just a constraint that can be lifted, right? So the AI generates candidate designs, which are then rigorously tested in the lab by scientists for viability and safety. Again, it's going to come down to the tests. It's going to come down to the actual people who are developing this, because like the people who are developing the algorithms are introducing biases in the algorithms already. So what's to stop them from introducing biases in this, right?
Yeah, I agree. They're so like on the screen here, we're talking about, I dream of a world of CRISPR on demand within weeks versus, what have you. And a bad actor is someone who is unethical and is not worried about whether or not they use AI created editor or not, or don't worry about the consequences.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to unpack with this because it goes down a path, but I really like that because we're talking about, genetically modifying human embryos potentially, undesired side effects like we've seen where we have a cellular breakdown and it starts triggering cancer and other things. And what do we call it when we were replicating DNA? The gray blob, is that
I can't remember.
The self-replicating DNA where everything just explodes into a gray goo or a gray blob.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got some very interesting technology. I love where this is going from. If it's $2 million to cure sickle cell in a person, maybe that'll be $10,000 in a few years with the proper tools, and maybe we'll have 10 or 12 more, or even dozens more cures for different things that we haven't had.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, or we could be creating monsters. Like can you create me a guard dog that will fend off the flame-throwing Boston Robotics dynamic dog, please?
Yeah, exactly. But
all right,
this is unlimited capabilities. But because of the unlimited capabilities, there's a lot of things to worry about. As always. So what do you got going on, John? Yeah, so we've got we talked about it at the beginning, but those of you who weren't listening, we've got Startup Drinks TO next Thursday, May 2nd. I'm excited for that. The Sunrise Social. So this is on May 26th. So we'll be talking about this a couple times, but I love this event. You do breath work, you do cold plunge, you do sauna, mindfulness, yoga. It's a great event. It's first thing in the morning. If you're not an early riser, still get up and do this. It's really, really great. They usually give you a goodie bag too. It's put on by a great company as well, Unbounded. And it's on a Sunday, 7 to 11. Honestly, you'll feel phenomenal the rest of the day after that. So that's a great one. If you're going to come out to Toronto Starts next week, after Toronto Starts, there is this opening party of the summer. Let's talk Startup Investor Drinks, May 2nd, 6 p.m. Workhouse. This is great because
I'm trying to follow you, by the way. Yeah.
No, sorry. I know I'm all over the place. So for your ticket, the cost of your ticket, you not only get drinks and pizza, but you get to pitch yourself, your idea, your business, yourself, whatever you want. You get up there and pitch, and sometimes you'll get some feedback as well, which is great. You'll get to meet entrepreneurs, investors, individuals. It's a great, great event. And there's this guy potentially, if he's going to be there, Will Greenblatt. He does a great starting just before everyone does all their pitches, and he'll give you some strategies and things like that. It's phenomenal. It's a great event. Come out to that. And that's in 6 days, 9 hours, 3 minutes, and 33 seconds.
We'll be there, by the way,
as of recording this. But then after that, there is an opening party at the waterfront at the power plant. It's an art exhibit and things like that. Tickets are free. So if you don't want the party to end after Startup Drinks, you can head over to this because it goes from 8 to 11.
Yeah, come by Startup Drinks TO. See the pitches. Pitches start shortly after 7. If you want to head out at 8 o'clock to hit this summer party, we usually close the bar at 8:30 and are asking people to leave at 9. So you got plenty of time to get over there.
Yeah.
And John, you help people with funding.
I do. Yeah. Shred, any kind of funding, government funding. I know there was a lot announced in the federal budget. We don't know where those funds are going yet or what they look like, but there's some great opportunities. But if you need anything for your business in Canada, feel free to reach out. Non-dilutive funding.
Yeah, that's Jon Irwin on LinkedIn. Check out everything we do at TorontoStarts.com. Make sure you come to Startup Investor Drinks if you're in the Toronto area. StartupDrinksTO.com. It's always a good time. And if you're stuck in your business, not getting sales, not finding clients, not being able to deliver a good service or product, check out startupcoach.ca. Let's have a discovery call and get you unstuck and moving forward in your business so you can actually grow and stop sweating the small stuff. So give me a call so we can do that. That's about it for this week. And remember, next week we're on Thursday morning instead of Friday.
Yeah. Same time, just different day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.